Jade Bolden and welcome to my video. Today we're going to talk about pink pepper. So pink pepper is relatively new oil to me, but it's becoming one of my favorites. Now, we have plenty of things to learn about pink pepper, but so far it's an amazing oil. All right, so in a nutshell, pink pepper is great for lymphatics. It's great for the Candida Cleansing, fantastic for the gut and digestion. It's fantastic for inflammation and circulation, helps with menstrual support, helps with feeling anxious and boosting immunity. It's oil that helps with metabolism and blood sugar. It helps with the emotionally intrinsic equality. Okay, it helps you feel compassionate, accepting of self, kind and merciful. It's especially great for those people who feel like they compare and you know, themselves with other people. Okay, so basically it's great for cleansing the mind and the body and helping people have the courage to heal physically and emotionally and accepting themselves. Okay, it's you know, the antidote for insecurity based behaviors is self-love and self-acceptance. So if we have issues with insecurity, self-love, this is an oil for you guys. Okay, so I have a bunch of suggestions for how you can help your body physically, and we'll go to the other levels in a minute. Okay, so it's great for cleansing cells of medications. So did you guys know that your cells can hold the medications and the toxins in medications in your cells for about 10 years? And if that medication has heavy metals, it can be in your system for more than 40 years. And sometimes the brain, the cells that holds those toxins in is the brain. Okay, so this oil helps you release all that. Okay, because sometimes we have medication withdrawal, right, or addictions to it, and this way, as your cells are cleaner, it won't be craving it so much. Okay, so now you do 1 to 2 drops of pink pepper, black pepper and copaiba. You can put it in a vegetable capsule and take that internally 2 to 3 times a day, depending on your severity. And you know for yourself, your medical history, if you've had a lot of medication before, give yourself some time. And guys, you need to do this consistently. Don't just do it for a couple of days or weeks and then think that you've cleansed for life. You know, when people have medications, like I said, it takes some years, you know, decades to get rid of, you know, the effects of it. Okay, over time though, there's a toxic load to deal with if we don't cleanse it out. Okay, so there's no way around this, guys. Alrighty, so energy, lymphatics and Candida cleansing. So you hear a lot about Candida fungus, and it's really it's a big thing. Okay, you know, if you have food festering in your gut, it's going to suck your energy. It's going to absorb your nutrient and not allow you to absorb the nutrients yourself. So you might be eating healthy foods, but you might be nutritionally deficient. Okay, and then suffer from a lot of nutritional deficiency symptoms. You know, because we have a lot of fungus in there, that's all. So we need to clean it out. So cleansing it out isn't that difficult. It's not a mystery, okay? If you use essential oils on a regular basis, you know, several times a day, you know, you're heading in the right direction. So again, the same blend, 2 to 3 drops of pink pepper, black pepper and copaiba, and you can look up those oils you know, in the modern essential books and other reference books to learn more about what each of those oils can do. So I know that you're going to be very happy to discover all the other things that it can do. Okay, so do that 2 to 3 times a day just to help your body cleanse. And when your body cleanses well, it will function more optimally. It will encourage proper perspiration. Sometimes we have like heavy metal toxins inside our bodies, and then sometimes people have like one side of their body, like maybe that doesn't perspire properly. okay, or they perspire too much. So with essential oils, it helps balance all that up. Pretty cool. It's great for cellular support. So any health problems that is cellular based, which is nearly everything, if your cells functioning you know, in a funny way, if it's mutated, or if it's not triggering apoptosis, self-destruct, then you need this oil for your cells. Okay, so combine frankincense with the pink pepper and put it in a veggie capsule and take that 2 to 3 times a day for 2 to 4 months, depending on your severity. All right, so you know, the rule of thumb, okay, if you guys are new to essential oils, for gut and digestion, for the rule of thumb is any cooking oil will be great for the tummy, okay? But you know, you have different ones that do different things. So here's some suggestions. So pink pepper is a food. It's pink pepper, okay? So you can use this, or you can use digestion, cardamom, or citrus oils. You can mix them and or make a combination of them. But you find that if you have some sort of gut problem or digestive problem, if you take this on a regular basis, several times a day, because your body metabolizes the oils very quickly, then you'll see some results. Don't just take it one time, once in a while, and think, oh, you know, it doesn't work, right? It needs to be consistent. And in your mind, maybe you think, oh yeah, it took 3-4 drops, you know, for a couple of days. That's a lot. But, you know, compared to what you really need, that might not be enough, okay? So take more consistently and more times, and then you'll see the results. Okay, appetite. I just put appetite here because it's really appetite balancing. So sometimes people have a lot, you know, they want to eat more, and sometimes people want to eat less. Okay, so when people have appetite issues, it's because their body is not receiving and sending messages of satiety. Okay, our stomach's supposed to stretch, and it's supposed to send messages to your brain, telling your brain, I'm satisfied. Okay, so some people struggle with feeling hungry because they don't feel hungry at all. So the messages are not getting into their brain. Okay, and sometimes people don't feel satiety because they're eating and eating, but they don't receive that message that you need to stop now. Okay, but with the oils, what I love about them is that it helps cleanses the receptors of the cells and help the cells communicate again, because that's what diseases are, you guys. Okay, it's a miscommunication of cellular function, okay, because of toxins and stresses and stuff like that. All right, so just apply this. You take it internally with citrus oils if you like, or apply it in on the bottom of your feet daily. So I've got some kids, because of, you know, all of the toxins in the environment and then the vaccinations and things, sometimes they don't feel hungry, and sometimes they're very picky with their food. So, you know, I've helped families where they put the oils on the bottom of the feet, morning and night, in the middle section where the tummy is, and they start getting an appetite again. It's awesome to watch. All right, and they expand their repertoire of food. All right, so fantastic for lungs and respiratory support. So you can apply this with the breathe oil on the bottom of your feet. You can mix it up and apply it to your, you know, lung area, front and back, or you can put it in your diffuser. You might want to do all three if you need to. Okay, usually when you're oiled up and you're a heavy oil user like myself and others, you'll find that if you do come down with something, it doesn't last more than 24 hours, 48 hours max. So it's only when we don't use oils consistently that when we do catch something, it lasts a long time. But fortunately for us, we have natural solutions to turn to so that we're not adding to the toxic load and creating more problems down the road. Okay? So that's the solution for you. Use that skill, guys. Okay, for menstrual cramps and balancing, okay. So the pink pepper goes in and helps your body balance up and helps with circulation, helps with the spasms. So you can apply pink pepper, bergamot, frankincense, marjoram, geranium, and Roma chamomile, or a combination of them or one or two of them on your lower abs and on your ankles. Okay, your ankles has the reflex points for your sex organs. Okay, so try that, guys, and you'll be pleasantly surprised. You don't have to use other synthetic versions. Okay, so boost immunity. Okay, most of the oils are very high highly cleansing. Okay, it's powerful against environmental threats. So if you use the oils daily, you'll find that your cells are cleaner, your body is able to produce more white blood cells, and you have a stronger immunity. The immune system is what heals you. Your body heals yourself, okay? The oils, medications, and food doesn't necessarily heal you. They are tools for your body to do the healing. So you need to give your body the right tools, okay? So for me, it makes sense to keep your body clean, to keep your body vibrating high, like the oils, and your immunity will boost over time. So this year, this year will be 9 years since I've had to take my kids to the doctors for any sort of problems. Sorry. Okay. Blood sugar. Okay, so it's very, very good for blood sugar. So you can use this in conjunction with cassia, cinnamon, grapefruit, and clove. And guys, don't be worried about the grapefruit, because it is the rind of the grapefruit, not the fruit, if you're worried. And take that in a vegetable capsule 2 to 3 times a day. If you can do that every day for several months, you'll find that your blood sugar level starts to balance out. And of course, everything we do, we need to address the issues on an emotional level too, okay? Now, it's a fantastic aphrodisiac too. If you mix it with ylang ylang and jasmine, put it on your wrists, and diffuse it in your diffuser, and get some excitement there, okay? Fantastic for circulation, inflammation, and joint support. So if you have stiff hands and elbows and knees and back and wherever, mix pink pepper, marjoram, lemongrass together with fractionated coconut oil and apply it to wherever you need relief. Alrighty, and of course, these oils are fantastic for flavoring. So if you need to flavor food, add pink pepper to your food, to your marinades and stuff. It's fantastic for that, okay? So let's move on to the mind. Pink pepper is the oil of intrinsic equality. So from the Emotions and Essential Oil book, it helps you release feelings of comparing, judgmental, unequal, distorted views of self. Okay, and it helps with these positive emotions, feeling equal, feeling compassionate, accepting of self, kind and merciful. So we don't have all the information to properly self-judge. So this oil helps us clear the brain a little bit, clear the negativity, so that we are humble enough to just let us be. Okay, sometimes we judge because we're self-correcting, but we take that self-correction to the extreme sometimes, and we start to judge ourselves. So this oil helps you kind of go back to center and be more reasonable. Okay, so for self-acceptance, you can mix pink pepper, cassia, black pepper, geranium, bergamot, kumquat together. Okay, and apply it to the bottom of your feet and say, I love and accept myself as I am, and I'm kind and compassionate towards myself. And you can say that as often as you can to help you rewire the brain, because if you're aware enough, on the subconscious level, you believe the opposite, that you're not good enough, because of all of these reasons. And you know what, you don't know for sure all of the reasons why such and such a thing happened, right? And we don't know why we have certain weaknesses. And so yeah, it's not our job to judge ourselves. Okay, so this way it helps you kind of think clearly and not be so hard. Now, I have a suggestion that you can take the time to interview yourself and get to know yourself better. I know that sounds like a funny concept, but try it and you'll see. So ask yourself questions to find out who you are, what you want, and what you're attached to, and what you can detach from, and then how you're measuring yourself. Because a lot of us have, we measure ourselves according to worldly measures, or invisible measures, or invisible timeline that somebody made up. Okay, so you ought to be such and such by this age. You're supposed to have a house, a home by this age. You're supposed to have children and be married by this age. You know, everyone's different. Every situation's different. So we need to disconnect our happiness from those things. Okay, so if you didn't achieve those things, it doesn't mean you should be happy or you shouldn't be happy. You know what I mean? So it's so liberating to do that. You know, some of the things I recognize in me is I should be this height and I should be, you know, this color hair, this color eyes, and then I'll be happy and beautiful, you know. And it was silly because that's just somebody else's definition. Or if I can achieve these things by this age, I'll be happy. So, you know, it's those silly conditions that we place upon ourselves. So when you start to interview yourself and you get to know yourself better and you see all your attachments, you can start to detach and then figure this one out, okay? Everyone can do this. So don't be telling yourself, no, look good for you, but I don't think I can do this, okay? So remember, comparison kills joy. So on the screen, you can see my cute babies. This is Genevieve and Madison. They're twins. So, you know, twins is a really good example of comparison. The world likes to compare the twins. You know, this twin does this, that twin does that. And I try not to do that because they're individuals, but they do have similarities. And, you know, sometimes it hurts them when people compare them. And, you know, they are not supposed to be each other. You are not supposed to be like the other person, are you? So anyways, with my twin, we had some interesting situations where we were able to discover our uniqueness. So I want to tell you that you are unique, all right? And even twins are unique and triplets are unique, even if they look the same. So what we did was we had an activity where we had 3 pieces of paper, one paper for one twin and the other paper for the other twin, and a paper for in between. And we wrote down what makes this daughter different or this person different to the other person, and then what makes them the same. So they had to interview it themselves and say, hey, what's your favorite color? You know, it's very basic, but it's a great way to start. So they start writing, no, I like green, no, I like red. Okay, that's fine. So that's different. So write it down, different. And then, you know, they ask about food, about favorite movies and books. And then they find that they have a lot of things in common. And those things in common, it makes them too. So now they know that this is them, this is what's different about them, and this is what's similar about them. So they're allowed to share their same interests as well. But this makes this child unique, and this makes this child unique. Okay, so we discovered how they are, and it feels different. They're a little bit more confident and self-assured now. So you can do that same activity with yourself and with your spouse and with your family, because sometimes we're chameleons. We like everything that everyone else likes, and sometimes we're rebels because we want to feel the power of choice, and we don't want to be told what to do. Okay, so if you just write down information about yourself and learn to love yourself and accept yourself as an individual, then you can see that sometimes you can be like others in certain ways, and that's okay. That still makes you you, and some things it makes you different, and that's fine too. Okay, you don't have to be all the way different. You don't have to be all the way the same, right? So just kind of identify who you are, make your boundaries clear, because when you do that, then you know yourself, and then and then others will know you, and they're not confused and fuzzy about you. So I've got some girlfriends who call me up and tell me their woes about their husbands, and I hear them, and I sometimes say, well, do you know yourself? Do you know what you want? Do you know where you want to go? And if they don't know, I say, well, start there, work on that, because how do you expect your husband to know who you are when you don't know who you are? Okay, so great tip, guys. Okay, so save lots of heartache and pain there. All right, so let's move on to the spirit. Okay, so be confident that you will continue to grow and change. We're dynamic creatures. All right, we would change all the time. So how can we box ourselves up and say, well, I'm no good, or I'm whatever? Okay, if we've made a couple of mistakes, okay, big deal. We need to get up and get going again. We're not meant to be perfect. We can't do everything perfectly the first time anyways. All right, so the best gauge of progression is with yourself. So you can't compare yourself to other people and say, well, I'm doing great, compared to so-and-so, but compared to yourself, are you better than you were yesterday? And that's the only gauge that you should do, because it is more true, okay? Because you know yourself a little bit better, and we don't know other people's situations, and we don't want to plague God. Let God do his job and do the comparing and the judging, but you can simply compare where you are today to where you are yesterday, and see if you've progressed, and if you have good job. If not, don't stress it, keep going, try hard, okay? And just try something different. Sometimes not trying hard, that might not be the solution all the time. Okay, so because people are confused, they easily compare themselves with people because they haven't defined who they are. So sometimes we're one up from each other or one down from each other, okay? And it's to the detriment of happiness anyways. Even if you're one up, somebody suffers. It's to somebody's I guess sadness, right? So we have our own special role to play on earth. We have our own calling, so to speak. So do your calling, okay? So disconnect from other human measures, and you measure yourself against yourself and your I guess personal plan or fulfillment or path, okay? So whenever we do that, we will feel liberated and transcend the world. Okay, so I march to my own drum beat with God as my guide, okay? Think of people like Mother Teresa, Christina Noble, Nelson Mandela, people who just need to do their thing, and without having to apologize to the world, for not pleasing the world. We're not responsible for other people's happiness, okay? So with that liberation from worldly measures, you'll feel more energy, happiness, and power to move forward in your direction. So, go back to Mother Teresa. We can't fault her for not being the greatest recycling person, because that wasn't her calling, was it? So you don't have to be everything and for everyone, right? You just need to be you and for God, okay? So I really appreciate the pink pepper because it kind of cleans your brain out and cleans your being out, and it helps you think clearly. Okay, so when your body is cleaner, your gut is cleaner, your gut will produce the happy healing chemicals and the brain chemicals that you need to make logical reasoning, right? And to think things clearly. because, you know, we're not caught up in that negative energy. Alrighty, so it's mind over matter, matter over mind. So anyways, I hope that you can discover your life calling and then move forward with your life calling regardless of other people. You're not responsible for other people's happiness, okay? And other people are not responsible for your happiness. So I have the top 10 suggestions here, and you can download that and print it out if you like. But then there's a link to the video from doTERRA about the sourcing of this beautiful oil from Kenya. So beautiful energy that is passed on to us. Guys, if you don't have a wholesale account, contact me and I'll hook you up. If you have a friend already promoting doTERRA, talk to your friend, okay, and join with your friend. But otherwise, if you want to have sort of a energy healing session, I'm happy to talk to you. Book a time with me on my website. Okay, so just go to energy healing and just schedule a session and book online. Okay, so we'll talk soon if you book online with me. Otherwise, guys, have I'm sending you lots of love, light, and healing, and have a fantastic day. Thank you for spending time with me, and hope you enjoy pink pepper. Bye for now.